Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Perp.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. My name is Josh Poet. Today is the 16th of September 2016. Our sun sign is still in Virgo, where it will be for just slightly than one more week. Our moon sign is currently in Pisces. However, it will be transitioning later today, tonight, into Aries. Today we have a full moon. We also have an eclipse, a lunar eclipse that is coming up. So lots going on today. And we're going to dive down this rabbit hole later on today with some of the news and stories, so stay tuned. So let's get to it. Conscious mind, sun sign, Virgo. We know it's an earth sign, holding the lantern up high for others to see, sharing the information with others, being patient and understanding that there's a timing involved. We're here on the physical world. The energies of the physical world move differently than they do in the other energetic realms, and so we have to be patient as the timeline of the physical world unfolds. Pisces, the moon sign for today, traveling into the unknown, past the towers of what we know, into the unknown realms. In order to do so, we need to protect our feelings because we have feelings about what happens when we go into the unknown. Sometimes we get scared, we get nervous, sometimes we're very happy because we're expecting new things. Whatever the case may be, our feelings are stimulated. This is a water sign. Therefore, when the feelings are stimulated, we have to make sure that we're not acting erratically, because that can happen at times when the feelings get all ruffled, when our feathers get ruffled. And then later today, this evening, we're going to be moving into Aries. Aries takes us back to the first sign of the zodiac. So we're going from the last sign back to the first sign. The first sign, Aries, is a fire sign. New ideas, creativity that's popping into the mix. That doesn't occur to this evening, so we've got a whole day of Pisces to deal with, as well as the eclipse, the full moon, and all that. The aspects we're looking at, some of them have already taken place. One of them, anyway, that was the opposition between Pisces, the moon, and Mercury, the communicator. So Pisces is walking into the unknown realms. It's seeking out to understand the emotions and feelings, to have faith in how life and the process of life is unfolding. And while that's occurring, Mercury is wanting to understand, how do we communicate this? How do we communicate the feelings that we are experiencing in the world? How are they manifesting in our lives? So there's something to consider as we move further on into the morning, 11:40 a.m. Pisces is now going to be in conjunction with the sign Chiron. Chiron is that aspect of ourselves that represents the part of ourselves that needs to be healed. Okay, we oftentimes have an aspect of ourselves that is hurt. We may not realize it or understand it. The universe itself around us shows us different examples. Our dream state comes to us to help us to understand. So we need to find a way to heal and continue to heal parts of ourselves that are hurt. We heal ourselves first, that way we become more effective in the world. 12:17 p.m., just a little bit past noon, Pisces is going to be in a square with Aries. Aries wants to interject a whole new sense of energy into the mix. We've just gone through understanding how to communicate. We've just gone through some healing. And now we may feel ready to charge forward. However, before we charge forward, we need to learn the lessons of how we're going to apply this energy that is coming our way. Okay, when we get fully energized, we don't want to just rush forward. We want to use our creative sensibilities to understand what this fire that we're now experiencing is all about. 2:05 p.m., the sun and the moon, Pisces and Virgo, are going to be in opposition with each other. Okay, so Virgo, the earth sign, is going to be in opposition with Pisces, the water sign. Our feelings need to balance out what we're experiencing here in the physical earthly realm. So earth and water need to find that balance. If they find the balance, we can think of plenty of examples in the world of how water and earth work together. An island floating upon the water. The water's all around it. It's a nice, good balance there. When things become unbalanced, we have floods. The water rushes over the earth. And then once that happens, everything turns to mud. Or there could be an abundance of earth that fills over the water, and now the water dissipates. So we need to have a nice, good balance between what is going on there. 6:23 p.m., the moon goes into the void of course phase, the last phase of Pisces, and then at 11:22 p.m. we move into the next sign, Aries, where we're going to be over the course of the weekend. Pisces and Aries, an earth sign mixed with an air sign. It'll be all day Saturday, and then again all day on Sunday, right here, and then it makes the transition Sunday night. So we start the new week fresh, new energies. All right, the moon we can see is just about to that full moon. It's going to be there before we know it, 12:05 p.m. Los Angeles time. So we're almost there. Today on the Jewish calendar, 13 Elul. 13 Elul, the month of forgiveness and introspection, the last month of the year in the Jewish calendar before we move into the next month, the beginning of the new year. That's coming up really quickly. Daily thought for today, childish love. A child gives love for the sake of love, yet an adult can also learn to do the same. Very important indeed. Giving out love is a certain necessity that we all require. Solar wind currently 301.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K index, currently at a 1, quiet. Over the next 24 hours, expected to stay within that quiet realm. Coronal holes, somewhat scattered, larger one at the bottom, so something here. Over this next 2 days, it says 16th and 17th, we'll be feeling the effect of that. M-class flare possibility 1%. X-class also at 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity, mid-latitudes, seems to be stable at the moment. 10%, 5% minor activity. Upper latitudes, 15, 20%, all stable there as well. Now let's take a look at some of these things for today. We have this Penumbral lunar eclipse. The countdown to the eclipse is 1 hour, 48 minutes, 20 seconds, counting down. We're not going to see this eclipse over here in the United States because the sun obviously is out and we're not going to be able to see the moon during that time. However, there are locations you can go. If you go online, you can go to SLOOH, S-L-O-O-H. Look that up. The SLOOH Observatory will be able to show you what's going on. You can watch it happening there. You can see it's coming up here. Begins at 16:54 Universal Time. That's 9:54 a.m. Los Angeles time. Maximum phase of the eclipse will be at 11:54 a.m. LA time, and then it ends at 1:53:59. So that's the length of time during the course of this eclipse. I've got a couple of interesting articles so you can look at some of the spiritual and insightful aspects of what's going on with this eclipse. Here we have lunar eclipse, full moon in Pisces. This comes to us from Mystic Mama. It says full moon, harvest moon is what this one is called. A lunar eclipse brings forth a surge of emotional energy. The watery depths of our unconscious bubble their way to the surface. At this apex of emotional uprising, we must feel to heal, and like true spiritual warriors, brave our hearts through the wounds that are the doorway. Here's the Mystic Mama's astral insights from our beloved fellow astrologers. Okay, so as you go through, we've got a couple different good examples here. It says eclipses on the Virgo Pisces axis are a precious event full of imagination, intuition, and participation in the unified field of the One. What lies in the shadow or beneath the surface can be set free. Chiron travels closely 22 degrees with the full moon in Pisces, drawing our wounds from the past to reveal the treasure and the wisdom they hold. Okay, so Chiron, very important, mentioned here, needing to heal those wounds. It says, out of the wound emerges the teacher, the wisdom, our wholeness. This Pisces full moon eclipse is here to dissolve what holds us apart from spirit and our true self. Mars is squaring the sun-moon eclipse. A square from Mars to the sun and the moon, especially in an eclipse, is aligned with the nodes. Our point of growth and experience in the past calls up fanatical beliefs that create great polarity and great resistance to understanding a differing point of view. All right, let me jump over to another one here. There's a lot more here for you to read. Here's another one, lunar eclipse from thepowerofpositivity.com. The month of September is remarkable for astronomy and astrology in that there is both a new moon and a solar eclipse on the 1st and a full moon and a lunar eclipse on the 16th. Not only that, but there is a second new moon in the month of September falling on the 30th. In addition to all of that, as if it weren't enough, Mercury is in retrograde right now through the 22nd. The article will tell you what all of these astrological events can mean to you in the coming month, so read to know how to prepare. All right, and this one, I like this chart here, or this article, because it breaks things up really nice in the sections here. Full moon and lunar eclipse, what it means for you. This will be a penumbral eclipse, which means that the moon is passing through the lighter part of the Earth's shadow, not the darkest part. As a result, those who will get to see the eclipse will only see a slight fading of the light on the moon's normal light. It will be visible from Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and the western Pacific Ocean. What science tells us about the full moon lunar eclipse? It says, does this eclipse affect human behavior? Well, we believe that it does, but in ways that might not be noticeable for us as it is for other animals. Most researchers focus on the effects of the full moon for humans, which are many and which happen regularly every month. These can be anything from problems falling asleep during the full moon to more hospital admissions. The full moon may affect some likelihoods of accidents for people who may be distracted by the full moon and the eclipse they see, as also for our pets. It says this lunar eclipse falls in the sign of Pisces, which means that for this sign, born February 19th through March 20th, you will have a special significance. Also highly affected by this eclipse will be Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius. Possible mood swings affecting many people during this time. You may also notice greater relationship instability. People will be more aware of the public persona and how they are perceived by others during the eclipse. We will be driven to seek attention and may act out because of this need. Okay, and one more. Intuitive astrology, talking about the same eclipse. It says the September 16th and 17th lunar eclipse falls in the watery and intuitive sign of Pisces, making this full moon a perfect time to focus on creativity and spirituality. Mother Earth feels at home in the sign of Pisces. It is the sign that she is able to express her ideas, her creative thoughts, and her deeper stirrings. The moon is also extremely psychic and aware when in this watery sign, which means that the eclipse is going to be felt very strongly on both a conscious and a subconscious level. September's full moon eclipse is bigger than just this month, even though this lunar eclipse will be working with the new moon solar eclipse that took place on the 1st. It is actually part of a bigger cycle that can be traced back to 2008. The cycle will not only officially end February 2017, but September's eclipse is definitely going to be one of the most potent moments in this cycle. September's eclipse is going to be highlighting the truth, whatever you have been shying away from, whatever you have not dared to see, is going to be revealed by this lunar eclipse. The truth will set you free, and that is the exact mantra of this eclipse. By being able to see the truth, by having the truth there right in front of you, it will help you make the best decisions on how to move forward in life. Seeing the truth can sometimes be painful, but is necessary if you want to expand your level of consciousness and truly live an awakened life. This eclipse may stir up some painful moments or some fears, but know that this is all so you can grow and flourish in the direction that you need. If things come up around this eclipse, if things are brought to your attention, don't ignore them. Know that you are strong enough to see the truth. Know that you are strong enough to handle the truth. While this eclipse is helping to release the truth, it may also release any angers or frustrations that have been simmering beneath the surface. Emotions will be very high around this eclipse, and it may be difficult to see that clearly at first. Know that the best way to channel this energy is into something creative. Writing, art, music are all excellent ways to channel any anger, frustration, or heightened emotions that appear. Okay, so there we have what's going on with the eclipse. Just remember, we've got this Pisces sign. Pisces is about having faith. Okay, we're moving forward into unknown territories. Our feelings become affected as we're moving into the unknown realms, the unknown territories. Therefore, we need to have faith in the process that's unfolding. And with this time, with this full moon and this eclipse, we also have the aspect Chiron that is coming forward that needs to be healed. So prepare for the ride today. Remember, it's all about energy. We're living in a sea of energy. This energy exists all around us. We're affected by the thoughts other people project into this field of energy, as well as our own thoughts. And we need to understand that as we move through it. That's why we put up the protections to protect ourselves from the various emotions that come our way during these times. So, there you have it. That's our cosmic weather. Virgo, Pisces, full moon, lunar eclipse, a lot going on, a lot of energy available to us. And then, of course, later today, this evening, moving into Aries for the moon sign, where we'll be over the weekend. That is our cosmic weather for today. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today I've got 5 stories for you, 5 good stories. Story number 1 takes us to a volcano here. Pyramid UFO leaves the mouth of an ancient volcano on live cam. This took place on the 14th, 2 days ago. There's our object in question. Okay, object in question here. We could see it a little better as we look here. There's something strange within that. This is our favorite volcano, or at least my favorite one to pronounce, Popocatépetl. I may be pronouncing that all wrong, but sounds good to me. So I found this pyramid-shaped UFO that was coming out of the mouth of the volcano. The UFO looks similar to the cloud and probably exited the volcano trying to look like smoke, but it's visible to the naked eye. Popocatépetl is known for having an alien base 4 to 5 miles below its surface. Local mountain climbers have even seen men 3 meters tall scaling the sheer sides of the volcano towards the mouth with no tools at incredible speed, and then they disappear. Okay, at First Contact Radio, you've got the link here to webcamsdemexico.com, which is the place where you can see the live webcams that point directly to this volcano and other volcanoes around Mexico. All right, let's move from here to France, and we have this multicolored UFO there. Definitely looks like the classic UFO shape. It looks like what has some sort of energy coming off the bottom, perhaps a propulsion. Now this one goes back to May of 2014. It says although this sighting is from 2 years ago, it just hit the news this week. It's never been reported, so here it goes. UFOs don't just come in bright white or single colors. They come in all colors. Some of the best photos of the UFOs were of a bright orange glowing craft. It is very possible that if a cloak is activated, it may actually cause a fluorescent glow at times. All right. Says France is known for all things rich culture, delicious food, historic landmarks, romantic getaways, and even alien sightings. The country made UFO news after mysterious flying objects spotted during a sunset at Vienne on Sunday. Okay, this is back in 2014. I'm going to leave that link for you to check out. Here we have a sighting above Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth. Check out this daytime UFO video of a huge bright orb in the sky above Fort Worth, Texas. This was filmed on the 30th of July. There it is. Nice large orb. Now we can tell that this is not any sort of a lens reflection because there's nothing that is there like the sun or a large object for it to reflect off of. So it's a nice good shot there above Fort Worth. Okay. Moving on. All right, here is a video from YouTuber Matthew Rogers, who's been out there tracking NIBIRU. And this one is quite unique because he was able to zoom in on the object. You see the object right here, this little red dot right here, right in the middle of the screen. Well, he's able to zoom in on this dot. And what he finds through the zooming in is quite amazing. There we go. As he zooms in, the dot becomes brighter. Continues to zoom in more. Alright, so this is what he's capturing up there. Now, the reason it's shaking around is there's no tripod that's being used at this point in time. But nonetheless, it's a very good capture of an object. This object is out there. You could see it. There's no denying it. Matthew speculates that this is a NIBIRU, and that it will become closer and closer to Earth as the time goes by over the next few months. So we'll certainly keep tracking that, but you might want to track Matthew's channel just to see what else is discovered along this way. And finally, one last story. Here we have a being of some sort that appeared above the 9/11 tribute. Here's the object right here. This is the beam that shoots up from the 9/11 tribute. It says this standing figure is over 5 feet tall and stands directly in the beam of the 9/11 tribute. The news states the image of the beams reaching up to the heavens shows what appears to be a figure floating high in the light. Many have been curious if it is a trick of the light or a Photoshop job. Others see it as Jesus or an angel. I didn't realize the image was there until I looked back into the camera and saw a larger piece of white there, and I kept enlarging it and saw the image. Rich McCormick, who snapped the photo, told the Inside Edition. McCormick said he was standing on the waterfront in Hoboken, New Jersey, when he captured the heavenly image. It was 9:30 p.m. Friday as he was taking photos of the 9/11 beams of light across the Hudson River. He says the photo is not Photoshop. It looked like the image of the Lord or an angel. I feel it was like an angel watching over us. Some people think it's unusual cloud formation. Others see a great mystery. Now you can look at this. It certainly looks like a being standing there, doesn't it? It definitely looks like some sort of being that is there. And of course, just a video showing the still images, and I'm going to leave that for you to check out. But yeah, it definitely looks like some sort of being standing there. All right, pretty interesting, right? Interesting captures. So we've got the NIBIRU close up. We've got angel or Jesus up there above the 9/11 tribute. and of course the typical UFO sightings that we've been seeing periodically. And that is our UFO news for today. Stay tuned. I'll be back, and we shall continue on momentarily.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, what they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right, let's continue on because I've got a lot to get to. So, you ready to jump down the rabbit hole? Explore some things that are a bit way out there and wacky? All right. So, on Monday, I did a show and I discussed the theory that Hillary Clinton was arrested. Now, the video itself has gotten a nice response from people who seem to concur that they're feeling the same way about that situation. I'm not the only one thinking it. You're not the only ones thinking it. This is being discussed at forums and so on. So I'd first of all like to refer you to that video on Monday. I cut out specifically the segment of the daily news so you can just go and watch that segment directly and see. And in there I laid out the idea that when Hillary was at the vehicle, that she wasn't having any sort of a seizure or a medical condition, which when I first looked at it, that's what I thought. What I laid out was the theory that she was in cuffs and she was arrested. And we had an opportunity to see that. Along with that video, there were various links that were made available, links that talked about such things as the possibility that we are currently under a state where the military has taken over, a military coup, and that the acting chairman of the Joint Chiefs is now in charge of the United States until we get through this election cycle and we can put things right. So, check out that video from Monday. Now, moving forward from there, this is a video. I'm going to leave this for you to watch. It's 9 minutes, 57 seconds. But this video here is of a woman who is also saying the same thing. She has a series of videos that are discussing this. And she says in this video, Hillary was bagged and perp walked. Gratitude to the U.S. Special Forces. She goes on further to describe this scenario that unfolded and that this was an opportunity for all of us to see Hillary arrested. And we don't realize at the time what we are actually seeing, but when she describes how this laid out and how it played out, that we actually did witness something that was quite unique and were given the opportunity to see it. They could have closed off the whole area to block everyone seeing. Just so happened that there was a camera that was there focused in on the situation, I want you to check this video out, listen carefully to what she has to say. Now, wanted to find out more about who she was. This woman, and I don't know her name, but she works and is part of the Court of Ages. And the Court of Ages is a court that deals with all sorts of grand jury cases and bringing to justice people who are causing problems. Okay, and so there's this one page here where it is, if it opens up, where there is a number of cases of arrest warrants. Here it is right here, of arrest warrants that are being issued to various members in the international body of leadership that have been causing problems and that will ultimately have to face the consequences as they face this particular court system. We see here Al Gore, Prince Charles, Prince William, Barack Obama, Bill Gates, CIA director, you know, the usual characters, the ones that we know that are involved with all of the shenanigans. So I'd like you to, you know, just look at this information, consider what's going on there. But something like this, which lets us know that there's a behind the scenes activity which is taking place. There are those who want to help to bring to justice what is taking place in not only our country but throughout the world. And this video that she talks about describes the same theory, outlines the same theory that I laid out about the possibility that Hillary was arrested. And of course, I didn't come up with this on my own accord. This was something that through the various internet forums, in particular Godlike Productions, where I was seeing this information and began tracking the questions people had. And as I began tracking it, following that line of thought, a lot of things began to unfold. So that brings us up to yesterday, where Hillary made this appearance. And normally one would think, well, Hillary made this appearance, that's it, it's over and done with. She obviously wasn't arrested. But not so fast. Remember, we live in 2016, and in the video that I showed you on Monday, I showed you technology that is available to stage events, to fake things, to use technology so that in the one image you saw there was a George Bush image, and all he was doing was he was looking right to left, just turning his head is all he was doing. But then we were able to see that there was someone behind the scenes, the puppeteer, who was wearing a headset, and when he would make any gestures with his face, there was another image that was the George Bush image where this puppeteer's gestures were applied onto the George Bush image, and the one that was shown, the final version, was the image of George Bush making those gestures, and then even going on so far as to continue whatever speech he made. Now you add to it a voice technology, which I've also shown you that we have available to us, and you are going to have a difficult time telling what's what. So she had this rally the other day, and there were some real anomalies that occurred at this rally. What I want you to notice is this. Hillary's just getting ready to walk on stage at this point in time. Okay, so I'm going to play this here. And here we go. And we scroll over, and here's all these people recording this. But what I want you to notice is something here. Look at their cameras. What do you see back here? You see flags. You see a big flag here. You see they're pointing their cameras right here. Where's the red flag in the camera? On their screens. Where is this? They're not filming the same event. Okay, and there's Hillary right there. And where's Hillary? You don't even see Hillary walking by. Okay, these people are filming something completely different. Whatever they're filming, it is not this event. Okay, now one of the questions that's brought up is, well, there's the angles that they were filming at. They were filming at weird angles, but all of those cameras were there, and you could see that they are not looking at the same thing. Okay? Whatever they're filming here on these cameras, we should be seeing in these images what is in front of them. We should be seeing the red flags. We should be seeing this large red flag, which is there for everyone to see. But we're not. We're not seeing any of those things. And then when Hillary walks by, you would think if these people were filming that they were going to be filming the object, the person that they were there to see, which would be Hillary. You would think they would be pointing their cameras right there at her. But they're not. We're not seeing Hillary when she walks by at all. Here, let's look at it one more time, just so you can see again. Okay, so there's something bizarre going on. Okay, they're holding up their cameras, they're looking. Here's a good shot right here. Okay. So, what the heck's going on? Why do we not see anything that's taking place here? Okay. There's Hillary. Hillary's right here in front of this camera. This person holding this phone, I'm guessing, would be wanting to catch Hillary in this shot. But where is Hillary in his shot? He doesn't look like he's filming anything that is the same thing at all. Okay, so red flag. Red flag. What the heck's going on there? So obviously something is not right about that particular shot. So here we have another video. This is one of the news videos that was taken during the course of this speech. And she's giving this in front of this large red, white flag here. Okay, the red and white. This is not the first time she's done this in front of a flag like this. And watch what starts to happen here. She's giving the talk, and all of a sudden, what happens? Hillary disappears. The flag doesn't disappear, but Hillary disappears. And then you're going to see it goes to a split screen. Momentarily, she's talking. Seems to be some sort of weird glitch around Hillary. And then we're going to see momentarily. Where is it at here? There it is. There's okay. Hillary's having problems. And now we go to the split screen. And a split screen is so that you can change images. You set one thing up on one screen and then you slide it over to the next one. And look, you've got Hillary keep disappearing into one, but not on the other. So is it possible that one of these is set up where they're adding her in there? And then later, this is the one that's being shown? Okay, would you call that bizarre or would you call that normal? Now, we could say maybe that's just technology. Technology is acting up. Hillary would never fake something. Right. The woman has never lied before. She's been completely honest about everything, all the time. There's never been any shenanigans around Hillary, ever. So obviously this is nonsense, right? Well, here's a video for you to check out, which is a whole analysis of her faking an event. And again, you see she's in front of the red and white backdrop here. And during the course of this video, 4 minutes and 6 seconds, you see basically the same things going on. And the video is going to get into discussing cameras. Again, there's a shot. Let's get the hands out of the way there. Okay, here's the camera pointing. What's the camera pointing at? There's a big red and white flag back here. Why is this phone not picking it up? So this video does a really good analysis going through. So we see that there was something being faked in this one. She's in front of the same backdrop for this other event. So what's taking place there? Why are we seeing these anomalies? Well, something could be definitely being faked here. Here is a example of a crowd simulation using a program that's readily available for everyone called After Effects. We see no crowd, but watch. Dun, da, da, da. Look how easy they put a crowd in there. You would think that all of these people are there, but this was an effect. We go back to the beginning. No crowd, nobody, empty area, boom. Suddenly we have a crowd overlaid right on top of what is taking place. Now, how does this happen? See, the way that this software works is you use layers. You have a control center, a control area, in which you have one section that is the image that's going to go out as the main feed, the public image. That is the image that is shown on television or wherever you're going to broadcast it. You have these other images, which is where you set your shots up. And you can set shots up, and depending upon the software and the sophistication of the software, you can set shots up where you have layers. You might have the first shot, like in this crowd scene, where you just have the big open area. Then you have another layer that you're going to put on top of that, which is all of the crowd. It's just a crowd of people standing there that is laid on top of this. You can add multiple layers to what's going on here to suddenly come up with a shot that is going to, suddenly be very filled and very different than the original shot. Here you have an article showing, it says, Hillary comeback campaign event flops with a small crowd. So it says she returned from the siesta to the campaign trail. She visited North Carolina this morning, and her crowd was dismal. Reported less than 300 people showed up to her campaign event in North Carolina. Her poll numbers are crumbling. She can barely walk, and now she's struggling to get people to her campaign events. Okay, so we see small crowd there. How many of them are part of her team? We've seen over and over the trickery that is being done by the Hillary campaign. We see from these emails that are out that they're sending their people out to stage protests, to fake events. So they could have filled this with all sorts of people that they wanted to fake this with. But it's very obvious from seeing the video where they're holding up the phones, the cameras, we could see that they weren't filming the same event. So those people were not shooting at the exact time that this event was taking place. Either they were there earlier and they were shooting an empty event, or they were at a different event. Either way, it was staged and it was layered. Now, people say, but there was still Hillary. Well, they have body doubles. There's many body doubles that are used. After the event occurred at the car, which I believe was an arrest, and others believe was an arrest as well, we then saw Hillary come out and we saw her wave. Hey! Have you ever seen Hillary that energetic and the look on her face? No, I haven't. That wasn't Hillary. That was a double. She came out and there was no Secret Service around her. She waved to a little girl to come forward for a photo op, a very staged event. There was something bizarre about that because the woman that came out looked different than the woman we saw going into the vehicle earlier. This woman was suddenly leaner. She didn't have all the same facial features, the wrinkles. Something was different about her. I showed you a link on Monday which shows various examples of body doubles and a comparison between the one Hillary and the other Hillary. Here's an article of rents.com which gets into discussing various ideas of body doubles. The article goes on to say, looks like they are going with a body double, but where is Hillary? Questions. Did she die on 9/11 after they dragged her limp body into the van? If true, the brazen arrogance of the controllers is astounding. Hillary's on her jet with the press today, just 4 days after a total collapse. Now, look at the bottom of the nose, the septum, where it joins the upper lip. The end of the nose irrefutably extends downward, further than Hillary's does. Furthermore, the nostrils are all markedly different shaped. Look at the end of the nose. The tip of the airplane Hillary's nose today is much larger. It overhangs, is clearly larger, droops down, and actually ends below the nostrils. This is not Hillary's nose. This does not look like the same person. This double is about 30 pounds lighter, younger, thinner overall, and full of energy. Have they been using a double at times during the campaign to get people used to the differences in appearances? Anything is possible. The technology of today is far beyond what most could imagine. So let me scroll down. There's a number of images. Okay, this is the Hillary we saw on the plane. Okay, got a good look at that. Now we're going to scroll down. There's a little close-up of it. Okay, get a good look at how she looks. And then here's another image of Hillary. Notice there is a difference in the nose. Okay. And you start going through and you start seeing and you realize that there's differences in the way these Hillarys look. Okay, there's a different look going on with this person than there is with this person. Very slight differences, but enough differences that you start wondering what the heck's going on. Okay, here's another different look here. And you see these looks and it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Makes you realize that there's something more going on than meets the eye. Something more. Okay, some of these Hillarys look younger, some look older. Of course, this is one that we saw on Sunday. Okay. All right, so you've seen enough of the different looks of the Hillary to realize that it's quite possible that we saw the other day was not really Hillary. You could see there's a difference in the way they look. Okay, the noses are definitely different. Okay, so we've got lookalikes. Okay, do we know that lookalikes occur? Well, look how many Elvis impersonators there are. How many Elvises have you seen that look like Elvis? Quite a few. I mean, there's a lot that don't, but I've seen a lot of Elvis impersonators that look like Elvis. There's body doubles that are used all the time. We know that this occurs in politics. So we've got evidence of video anomalies. We have cameras which are filming an object which isn't there, apparently at a difference. So we see the possibility that there was layered effects in these videos. I've shown you technology that can alter a person's image or manipulate an image. I've shown you software technology that can go ahead and mimic somebody's voice, doing it live. So shenanigans is taking place. Now, here we have an article, 2 more docs charge cover up in Hillary health scandal. With a significant number of top physicians expressing concern that the American people aren't being told the truth about Hillary Clinton's health, the Democratic Party nominee's personal doctor is declaring she is fit to return to the campaign trail. The letter from Dr. Lisa Bartok was distributed by the campaign Wednesday after a video of Clinton apparently collapsing as aides helped her enter her limousine during a 9/11 memorial Sunday confirmed suspicions over the past several months that she is seriously ill. Concerns about reported fainting spells, stumbles, blood clots, uncontrollable coughing, and a serious concussion that took months, however, are being attributed to dehydration, flu, or pneumonia by her campaign. Bartok works in the internal medicine section of Caremount Medical in Mount Kisco, New York. My overall impression, she wrote, is that Miss Clinton has remained healthy and has not developed new medical conditions this year other than a sinus and ear infection and her recently diagnosed pneumonia. She is recovering well with antibiotics and rest. She continues to remain healthy and fit to serve as President of the United States. But a two-page letter addressed none of the issues captured on video, including her violent head jerking in one episode and her blank stare and loss of focus in another. Dr. Jane Orient, executive director of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, told WND that the letter from Bartok ignores all pertinent questions. Maybe she has pneumonia, but the timing is perfect for explaining a fall that we weren't supposed to see, which could have been caused by some neurological damage that caused previous falls. From a distance without formal Dr. Leib, author of Surviving the Medical Meltdown, Your Guide to Living Through the Disaster of Obamacare, took no time in expressing alarm. From a distance without formal evaluation, there are still three things I know for sure regarding Hillary Clinton's medical condition. She has a neurological order. Pneumonia did not cause the episode on 9/11, and she and other staff have been trying to cover up the truth of her condition for months, if not years. She explained, I practice orthopedics and am a fellowship trained in spinal surgery. As such, I do a lot of neurological evaluation in my clinic, and as an orthopedic surgeon, I take care of fractures in elderly people who fall. Now, everyone falls occasionally, and as we get older, we fall more frequently. But even people with loss of sensation in their feet, people with weak muscles, and people with chronic conditions like cancer don't fall that frequently. There are only two groups of people who fall a lot: raging alcoholics and people with neurological disorders. If Hillary were drinking herself into falling, she would not have been able to perform at her usual job campaign, but for over a year, she has fallen on camera and behind camera. We are told heat stroke, dehydration, and other reasons to justify multiple falling episodes. She has fallen and broken her elbow and fallen and hit her hard head enough, apparently, and caused bleeding. Okay? So a lot of suspicion there. I'm going to leave this to you because it's a lengthy article. But again, more questions about Hillary's health from doctors. And people may say, well, this isn't her doctor. They can't make an evaluation. Why not? Isn't that the purpose of a doctor? To be able to look at somebody and say, you don't look well, you should go to the hospital. You don't look well, let me do an evaluation on you. We have eyeballs, we observe. These are people that are in the profession and are trained to look at somebody and spot whether somebody has something wrong with them. Sure, you need a closer up personal examination to be able to know exactly what's going on, but a trained physician with years of experience behind them should be able to look at somebody and be aware enough to know whether that person needs to be evaluated further. There are many, many doctors who have seen Hillary, has seen the public profile that's put out about her to date, and understand by looking at her that there's something wrong with her that is not being expressed. Now, is it possible that the DNC is telling the truth about Hillary? Well, let's think about that for a minute. Has the DNC ever lied to anybody? Have they? Of course they have, over and over and over again. They've continued to lie. And then when they lie and they get caught, they lie about the lies that they told. So they're not a trustworthy group of individuals. Most recently, the current leaks that came out from Guccifer are bringing forth a lot of information. We've seen the connections in there from Obama to ISIS. We've seen the collusion that the DNC is having in rigging the election. We see how they are accepting payments and pay-to-play schemes in order to put people in positions of power simply by donations they are giving. Lots and lots of collusion. But here is a gem that was in there. This is a gem about the media. Says this is who I will meet with in New York City. At each meeting, I'll discuss hits that we've executed. Hits that we've executed, if relevant, and future hits. Anything I should add? And if we look at this list, we have here Fox News, America's Newsroom HQ team, Shepard Smith reporting team, Kelly File team, O'Reilly Factor team. We go over to MSNBC, we have the Diaz Ballard team, the Live with Tamron Hall team, the Chris Hayes team, the Maddow team. Here we have CNN, Anderson Cooper, Aaron Burdett, Don Lemon. And then we have Reuters, BuzzFeed, and now this team. Well, let's see. Have we ever heard of any of these individuals that I mentioned? Have any of them ever been brought up as possible stooges for the political party? The answer to that would be yes. Quite often, as a matter of fact. Quite often indeed. So now we have to ask the question, what's really going on? What's really going on with these individuals, and why is the lie being told to us? Good question indeed. But as you could see, something weird is going on. Something weird that we need to know about and understand, because we're not being told the truth. All right? So there you go. That is the information about Hillary and the trickery that is taking place, and all around the theory that Hillary has been arrested, and we are seeing now a double that is out there trying to pull this off. What's going to happen from here, I don't know, but I think time will tell, and it's all going to reveal itself. I'm going to jump away for a few moments. Got to set things up for the last segment. I'll be back. Until then, stay tuned. Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love, send down your love to us from above. Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love, send down your love to us from above. Oh, 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 oh. Great Spirit, shine down your light, shine down your light, shine down your light to light our way. Great Spirit, shine down your light, shine down your light, shine down your light to light our way. Oh, 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 oh.
Let's continue on. Continuing on. So, again, as I always like to do, we need to bring this around to a spiritual solution. Okay? Pointing out that there's problems is one aspect of thing, because then we be aware so we're not fooled. Then the question is, what do we do? Because people feel helpless when they see these things and they think there's nothing I could do. They're lying to us. So they're too powerful. They're not able to relate to us. What do we do? Well, we can do a lot, because we are all living within this same field of energy. And though the powers that be may try to do something, and that's the word, they may try to put together a plan and try to make that plan work, it doesn't mean it's going to work. When we watch a sporting event, there are two teams that come out that play each other. Each team has a game plan. Each team is going to try to execute that game plan, but at the end, only one team is going to win. Doesn't mean that just because you try something, it's going to work. Now, the people here in America outnumber the politicians who are doing all of the bad things. When you add up the people in the world greatly outnumber all of those who are part of the powers that be that are trying to do the bad things. The powers that be may have infiltrated various areas of life, from politics to banking to the military to the systems of justice, but it doesn't mean that everybody in those systems are bad. In order for me to believe that, I have to believe that there are more bad people than there are good, and I don't believe that at all. So what we have to do is we have to have confidence, we have to have faith, and we need to keep feeding this field of energy around us with positive ideas. We need to connect ourselves with the higher aspect of ourself, which is not within this physical realm. That way we can be more connected to the spiritual realm. So there is a good article. This one's by In5D by Michelle Walling. It says your higher self is ready to join you. Many of us are here in service to ground the energies of the shift into higher frequencies. In order to do this, a part of our multidimensional self needs to ground here on Earth while still being connected to the higher realms. Part of this work I do is consciously connecting with my higher self, or a larger part of me that is outside of this matrix. I ask that my body be healed and cleared so that I can accommodate more of my higher self's energies into this body. The higher self cannot merge into low vibrating body, nor can it stay there if there are any blockages. I often ask my higher self to join me as much as possible while doing my meditation. I especially ask for guidance while doing my life coaching sessions, and it never fails me. I've learned to trust my higher self, and most of the time it is my driving vehicle. It is driving my vehicle now without me realizing a difference, other than things that seem to flow smoother when my higher self is more in the body. There are times that the higher self retracts for a while. Lower density emotions can bring this on. However, this usually happens so that you can clear out more for the higher self to bring in more of its essence. At this time, I observe many people in 5D community exhibiting more of their higher self than their old 3D self. The 3D self is run by the ego and is always in fear mode. That is because the 3D matrix reality uses fear and separation as the number one way to keep your vibration low. The ego does not necessarily go away when your higher self merges with you. The ego runs the personality, but when the higher self takes the wheel, the ego takes the back seat. While the Earth is shifting, she needs beings planted on her that can stay connected to the higher realms. This keeps her from needing to have too many earthquakes or volcanoes. It also allows her to keep vibrating at a higher rate than at her eventual shift from 3 to 4D to 5D in the physical. She has already shifted and separated realities on another level. We are still catching up to this and in the slower densities, but it's accelerating. If you have a sudden change in your personality, preferences, or relationships your higher self may have walked in, usually this would attribute to positive changes in your life. However, sometimes your higher self needs to walk in and shake things up a bit. It also likes to stop to repair something like a relationship, especially if that relationship is necessary in your spiritual development. Some people aren't conscious of their higher selves stopping in, and that's okay too. If you've never thought of asking your higher self to join you, you can simply take some time to yourself, connect to your inner space. There are many ways to do this, but I like to imagine moving my consciousness, which is my thoughts and awareness, to inside my heart. Take a few deep breaths and ask for a connection. Connection has always been there, but we have just forgotten. The more you do this, the stronger the connection gets. Eventually, those that choose to ascend to a higher vibrational frequency will simply be their higher selves all the time. The higher vibrational essence of their oversoul will have seeded into the body, and this will continue to shift our reality. Everything is energy vibrating at a certain frequency, and that's what every frequency you resonate with that will determine your reality when you tune into it. Okay, those who are looking to integrate their multidimensional aspects are truly bringing heaven to earth. They're building stronger bridges of connection, and when one person accomplishes this, it helps the collective. Change is inevitable in your reality as you change your vibration. If you're having a tough time right now, don't forget that you always have guides by your side that you can count on. Be sure to utilize them by asking for adjustments to occur smoothly and painlessly. Okay, so very important, we have to connect to the higher self. Remember, we're just on the physical plane. There's a lot more than just the physical plane in this reality. And so when we understand that, it really makes a big difference in who we are, what we're doing, how we're going about doing it. Okay? So that brings us finally to our meditation for today. So go ahead and let's close our eyes. There you go. Let's close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now as you continue to breathe, let us hear the words and contemplate the words from the pattern on the trestle board, the truth about the self. All the power that ever was or will be is here now. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. Through me, its unfailing wisdom takes form in thought and word. Filled with understanding of its perfect law, I am guided moment by moment along the path of liberation. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. In all things great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. Living from that will, supported by its unfailing wisdom and understanding, mine is the victorious life. I look forward with confidence to the perfect realization of the eternal splendor of the limitless light. In thought, in word, and deed, I rest my life from day to day upon the sure foundation of eternal being. The kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh. So allow those words, allow those ideas, allow those truths of the self just to unlock the deeper understanding within you. And as you connect to this deeper understanding, you find yourself looking at life from a new perspective, seeing life in a way that unfolds, that makes more sense than simply the physical reality. And it's all confusing ways. From the higher perspective, things feel lighter, positive, peaceful. So let's imagine now from this higher perspective, we're able to send out positive thoughts into this world, into this field of energy that we are all a part of. And as we experience this field of energy, filling with the positive energy, we see others moving through this field of energy being affected by all of this positivity. And we realize that one person can make a difference. And we know that as more and more of us continue to feed this field of energy, more and more people are affected positively. And so we continue to feel this energy around us. And with these feelings, we continue to open our hearts to deeper and deeper experiences of this cosmos that flows through us, around us. So let the subconscious mind continue now on the journey of sending out positivity, love, peacefulness, as we connect ourselves with our higher aspects of our being into this earthly aspect of life where we are now. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, thank you for the blessings you have brought to our life of the past, at the present moment, and in the future times. We are grateful for all the opportunities you bring to our life, opportunities to change and to grow and to make a difference in this world, a world where all are parts of a great opportunity, a great evolutionary moment in history, in time. And we send back to you blessings and love, as well as much gratitude for all that we are, all that we've been, and all that we shall ever be. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of sending out love, sending out positivity, sending out peaceful vibes. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. That takes us through the whole week. We've got an eclipse in front of us. We've got to change from one moon sign to the next. We have a lot of things taking place. Keep your eyes open out there in the world. Don't take everything for face value, because this physical world is a world of illusion, and there are those trying to manipulate that illusion. And if you allow yourself to be manipulated, well, then you're just going to be caught in the web that they're wanting to trap you in. However, the higher power, the spiritual source that flows through us, is not one that allows itself to get trapped. And that is our true essence. So just connect with that, my friends. Links are available to all the stories I did today at firstcontactradio.com. You can find us over at Twitter. You can find us at YouTube. Connect. We'll connect right back. Thank you very much. Have an awesome weekend. I love you. Keep loving each other. I'll talk to you next week. Peace. I'm out of here.